Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we will be listening to the first part of What If Deku Became a Cyborg. If you enjoy, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing down below, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you get notified when videos go live. Now, without further ado, let's get into the video. Chapter 1, Introduction. It's been a week since I was diagnosed as quirkless. I'm currently walking through a grocery store with my mom. Mom is currently looking through the list and naming things of what she's already bought. Okay, so we got cheese, soup, lettuce, apples, I jump up, katsudon. My mom giggles, alright, almost forgot that, thank you Izuku. I pose with a wide smile, and she giggles again. We walk through the store again while mom looks over what else we bought: apples, rice, watermelon, muffins, juice. She keeps looking through the list while I keep an eye out for katsudon. I can never lose sight of my favorite food. I spot the aisle we usually find it and turn the cart while mom pushes it. She gets pulled out of her trance and notices the aisle. Oh, he. Of course you recognize the katsudon aisle. I giggle while she looks for my favorite food. She eventually finds it and picks it up. Alright, that's everything, let's get out of here, yeah. I hop in place and throw my arms up, yeah. She smiles and we walk over to buy our groceries, but before we go to a counter to pay, an explosion occurs at the front exit and my mom immediately pulls me down. Shaking and holding my ears from the loud noise, I ask, "Mommy, what's happening?" She whispers, "I don't know, but we need to hide." She ushers the two of us behind an unattended counter and we stay under the desk there, all the while the people who caused the explosion walk in. I suddenly hear gunshots which make me jump and scream, but not before my mom covers my mouth to not be heard. We hear laughter while another says, "Everyone quiet. If you all stay on the ground no one will get hurt and get to see the today's moonlight, got it?" I look at mom and she puts a shaking finger over her mouth. I nod, shaking myself, while I try to stay quiet. The one who yelled out then starts talking again, "Why did you do that? Now the heroes and cops are already on their way." The one who laughed earlier replies, "Chill out man, we'll be fine. Just get the money and we'll be fine." The other scoffs, yeah, I'm on it." The man then walks over to a counter, not ours, and starts taking the cash, all the while the other guy who presumably exploded the front entrance then starts laughing again. He walks over to a nearby fridge and grabs a soda. This was too easy, they submitted like a bunch of slaves. The other villain sighs, "Don't get cocky you idiot, we don't know what we'll be facing when the heroes arrive." The exploding facing waves him off, "Whatever man, I can take them down easy with my quirk." He tosses the soda he grabbed, boom, ha. The pop can explodes while in the air while as the villain walks away. The other villain mutters, "Whatever you say, idiot." He then starts walking towards us and I begin to panic as I whisper, "Mommy, what do we do?" She whispers back, "Just breathe, we'll be dash." The villain walking up to our counter stops and says, "Hey, you hear that?" The other villain turns back, "Hear what?" The villain starts walking again, "I swore I heard dash." He looks over the counter and spots us, "Hey." He reaches out and grabs my mom, "Thought you could get away." She screams while I run out, "Hey, let my mommy go." I grab his leg and wailing on him. He turns to me, "Hey, you little dash." His left hand glows purple and swings a backhand, "Brat. Underscore 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 on. I wake up in a cold sweat and I look around my room. I take a deep breath as I put my left hand over my face, feeling the metallic left eye on my face. God damn it. I sit up using my only arm, my left, as leverage, and shivering from the feeling of the rubber on my spine and lift up the sheets revealing two stubs at my knees. I sigh again as I swing my body to the right, with my legs dangling off from the bed, and look to my desk to see a silver box with latches on it. I lean over and grab the handle from the top and pull it to my left on the bed. I stare at it before unlatching it and opening it up, revealing a right arm, and two legs in the bottom of the box, along with an indent on the underside of the lid of the box. I grab the arm and put it to the metallic connector in my right shoulder. I then push it in to latch it in and rotate it clockwise to hold it in place. It then flashes blue before mellowing out to a low hum as I begin to feel the arm again. I slowly move the fingers before making a fist as I bring it up to look at it. Much better. I then begin to put on both legs before removing the rubber cap over my spine and putting it into its place in the box. I stand up and stretch before walking over to the body-sized mirror in my room, seeing myself with 2 robotic legs from the knees down, where the feet have a shoe-like appearance, without toes, with blue glowing lines flowing all throughout the legs, with what seems to be an additional metal piece that could be seen as knee pads, and finally along the calves of each leg seem to have 5 spines with the sharp ends pointing upwards. My right robotic arm also having blue line flowing throughout its form, as well as having 5 sharp spines along the back of the forearm, all of which are pointing back up the arm. I lean in closely to my left eye as I see it glow with a bright blue iris, the pupil is black as well as the sclera. I run my fingers along the metal along with the eye before meeting the rubbery-like material of my skin, then I blink as the iris switches to an open unconnected X. I immediately see a skeleton downstairs moving with metal pans, probably mom making breakfast. I blink again as I turn a little to see 5 longer spines along my back, all pointing down to the ground. All of these prosthetics metal have the appearance of silver chrome. I turn away and change into some clothes for the day, while thinking about today's training. This is going to be so much work, but it'll be worth it for UA, so I'll manage. I walk back to the mirror, and I see myself in black pants, a gray shirt that says t-shirt, a turquoise open zip jacket, an emerald green glove on my right hand, and a half face mask covering the left side of my face. I smile, perfect. I mutter, Izuku. I hear my mom yell. I yell back, yeah. She replies, get ready, you have training with Shota soon. I look at my clock and see it's 7:45, my eyes widen, crap. Training's at 8. I run out of my room and head downstairs. Mom, is the food ready? She turns to me and smiles, of course it is, I make yours first before you wake up, you know this. I head to the door and grab my backpack, thanks mom, I'll see you for dinner. She waves me off, have fun dying. I open the door and look back, you know I don't. And leave. Smiling, I run to our meet-up for our training for each day. It really helps with his style of fighting, not being detected, but it's also a good spot for training for combat and learning new skills or upgrading ones I already have. It's what makes my prosthetics so cool, they can adapt to a combination of experiences, allowing them to change and evolve over time. When I first got them 11 years ago, they didn't have any spines, or X-ray vision, they appeared after some time during all my training. Without him, I don't think I'd be able to keep up their condition the way I have now. I start walking through some bushes as I approach our training spot. Breaking through the last of the foliage I see my uncle in his bright yellow sleeping bag with his eyes closed. I smile at the sight as I put my bag down and take off my face mask. I then readjust my clothes to let them out through the seams without tearing my clothes, then sit down, waiting for him to acknowledge me. After a second or two, he opens an eye and looks at me, good morning kid. I nod, good morning, Uncle Zawa. He smiles before getting out of his bag and standing up, me standing up as well, before he says, ready to get your body moving. I crack my knuckles as I pop my neck, I then flare up my spines as I form a grin, always. He forms his Izawa smile and says, alright then. I blink my left eye, summoning up a radar for only me to see as I get low to the ground before activating a newly awakened skill, came a few months ago, fire erupting between the gaps of my spines in my legs and back, sending forward at an alarming rate. I then reel back my right arm as I activate the skill there as well, sending my fist forward. Uncle Zawa limbos under it just in time. Noticing this, I quickly act as I deactivate the thruster in my left leg, straighten the front 3 spines in my arm and narrow the back 2, and skid my right leg a little far. My whole body gets pushed down and I spin to throw an uppercut to Uncle Zawa's back. He grunts in pain as he lurches forward, but I don't intend to slow down. As my left leg hits the ground again, I activate the thrusters in it again as I lean into it a little, intending to dash into him with a left cross, but I notice him looking at me as he's reaching for his scarf. I change plans and launch into the sky at the last second, using my back spines, the thrusters at the soles of my feet, and by pointing the spine in my legs downwards to redirect the thrust. I then use my right arm thrusters to pull myself down into a right hook. He jumps back a bit as my fist hits the ground. I then deactivate the thrusters in my soles as I straighten the spines in my legs and throw a roundhouse kick with my fist still in the ground, but he jumps back farther and evades. I then push off the ground and throw a right cross. Uncle Zawa jumps to his left and grabs my left arm with his scarf. My eyes widen just before he pulls me in and delivers a kick to my abdomen, sending me into a tree. I quickly grab onto the trunk with my right arm and hold tight just as he pulls on his scarf again. I get pulled a bit but only by my arm's length. I pull him in and dash for him with my thrusters. I bash his head with my right forearm and he lurches back while in mid-air. As soon as I land I'm spun around as he charges me and elbows me in the gut. I lurch forward before grabbing the back of his shirt, leaning back, and kneeing him in the gut. I then land on my back as I kick and throw him over me. I use momentum to get to me feet and dash into him with a left hook. He gets launched into a tree and I charge him again and stop my right arm spines at his neck, pinning him to the tree. He looks down at my arm then back at me, a bit close don't you think? I'm panting heavily as I stare him down. It was all I could think of, in quick succession. He hums, "We'll have to work on that." He then grabs my right arm, pivots, and slams me into the ground as he pins me. "But you weren't done." I grit my teeth, I guess I wasn't pinning him. He smirks, "No, you weren't." I groan while he chuckles and lets me go. He stands up and lends me a hand, to which I take as I stand up as well. He then points to my backpack, "Get your breakfast and eat, you did good this time around." I smile as I walk back to my back, put on my mask and grab my breakfast Mom made me. I then walk back to the center as Uncle Zawa sits next to me. I open it up and see that she made me scrambled eggs, apple slices, some sausages, and freshly squeezed natural orange juice. Uncle Zawa leans over and peeks at my food and says, "That woman never ceases to surprise me." I smile, yeah, she had to learn how to make healthier foods for me to keep me running, and make it taste good. He then asks, "There wouldn't happen to be any food with my name on it, is there?" I smirk and look at him, "Nope." He groans, "Darn." We laugh before he takes out a juice pouch. I take a bite out of a sausage. I then say, "I swear you're addicted to those things." He shrugs as I eat my food. Then Uncle Zawa says, "So, one more year till your entrance exam, you think you're ready?" I shrug, "Maybe." I eat an apple slice. He watches me for a second before looking away again. "So, any ideas on that hero suit of yours? Remember, you need one ready before you go to UA." I nod before swallowing. "I know, I've been trying to figure out a way to regulate my thrusters' temperatures, allowing me to cool them down and use them for longer." He nods, "Yeah, heat has been a reoccurring issue with those things. Even when they were held up against my neck, I could feel how hot they were almost burning." I take a bite out of my scrambled eggs while he continues, "Using the left gauntlet we have would be a bad idea since you're using it to balance out your skills and abilities, and there isn't an efficient way to use your suit in general to cool them down without freezing your body." I swallow and say, "Last night, I was toying with the idea of using the respirator as a vent, making it seem like I'm breathing, when in reality I'm cooling down my thrusters." He takes a sip out of his juice pouch then responds, "It's not a bad idea, that way we give it an actual function. So far it's been just a prop on your costume, at least now it has a function that can actually help you." I nod, "Exactly, the only problem is I can't figure out how to pull it off." Uncle Zawa stands up and walks to my back. I ask, "What are you doing?" He replies, "You have a big breakfast, as usual, so we can talk about it while you eat." I watch him walk back as I smile, "All right, thank you." He sits down next to me, "No problem. Now, where do we begin?" I take a bite of my food as I flip to my hero suit page. I then point to it as I give it back to him, and we start talking about possible ways to make it work. Tomorrow, my first day of my last year in middle school begins. Chapter 2, Bullies and Sludge Fest. I'm running along the sidewalk on my way to school. Well, not really, I'm running to something way more important. I wait at a crosswalk while pumping my legs, hopping in place, then cross when I can as I run through. I finally get to my destination and a smile grows on my face as I see a giant man on top of a railway track bridge. He roars while my smile broadens. Whoa, that's one huge supervillain. The villain roars again and smashes down a tower. As it falls, a hero runs underneath it and slams his fists together. He then raises his arms and catches the tower before it hits the ground. Some civilians cheer up the hero. Whoa, nice. Way to go, Death Arms. The punching hero. I wish I had a quirk that made me super strong. A line of water then spreads from one side of the road to the other as it changes into a gate. The hero responsible then speaks up, "Everyone, please stay back, this area is far too dangerous." The civilians in the area all watch him in awe, including myself, As they talk about him, whoa, the rescue hero, Backdraft is here? He'll make sure we're okay. I look around as I try to squeeze through, all the while some people are talking about the big villain. This guy must be pretty desperate to go full villain in the middle of the city. Do you know what happened? Another just scoffs as he replies, just some amateur. Stole someone's bag and got himself cornered. The guy from before just sigh, a quirk like that and he's just a petty thief. I ignore the others talking as I make my way through the crowd up to the front. I hear a group of girls scream but I pay it no mind. The villain suddenly yells out, "Get away from me or I'll break you toothpick." I finally make it to the front, and I see another hero has already arrived, Kamui Woods. I gasp in awe as I say, this is going to be good. The villain swings at him while Kamui Woods grapples onto another tower and swings away. I yell out, "It's Kamui Woods." I keep explaining, he may be new, but he's making a big name for himself. A civilian to my right smiles as he says, "One look of that dopey grin, I know what you are, a fanboy." I blush a little, sorta. I look away and laugh embarrassingly. Kamui Woods charges the villain, but not before said villain tries to crush him with the palm of his hand, to which the hero jumps and dodges, running up the villain's arm and jumping again. The hero tries to restrain the villain, but he puts an arm up and that gets grappled instead, so the villain throws him away. Kamui Woods lands on a tunnel entrance, assault, robbery, and the illegal use of powers during rush hour traffic. "You are the incarnation of evil." He extends out his right arm as it starts to separate into several pieces. I point to him as I say, "There, his special move." The guy next to me yells out, "Come on tree man, show us something flashy." I smile as I recall what the move is called, the preemptive. Kamui Woods adds, "Binding." We say together, "Lacquer chain prison." As Kamui Woods sends out several tendrils of wood towards the villain. Canyon cannon. A woman appears out of nowhere, slightly taller than the giant villain, and delivers a drop kick to the guy's chin, sending him to the ground. Everyone's eyes widen from the sudden appearance of the woman as she lands on the ground. Then a bunch of people start to take pictures of the women saying, "Money shot, money shot, money shot." The new hero then says, "Piece of cake for the world's next hottest hero." She turns back and looks at everyone, "Hey there everyone, I'm MT Lady, and you don't have to worry about this bum anymore." She winks. I look away with a small blush, "Okay." The police start arresting the villain while reporters start asking questions to MT Lady, all the while I watch the crater, mumbling to myself to record data. Text starts scrolling down in front of my prose. As I mutter, "Gigantification, huh?" Well, she's got the looks and attitude to be a crowd favorite, and her quirk is really showy, but it'll be kinda hard for her to get around much in the city without damaging lots of things. Which means, she might not be very useful. I continue to record info as the guy who was talking to me in the crowd comes up to me and asks, "What's that fanboy? You talking notes over there? Wanna be a hero too, huh?" He gives me a thumbs up. I perk up and turn to him with a smile, "Yes." I pump a fist, more than anything. I notice the time from my prose. I panic, I'm almost late for school. I run away and wave to the guy, "Bye." He waves back, "Good luck kid." I keep running to school. "Damn it Izuku, you could be late because you lost track of time, you just need to book it." I start running faster to get to school, hopefully I make it in time. Time skip. I do make it to class in time, and thankfully by quite a lot. I sometimes forgot how fast and how long I can go for. I forget my own limits quite often. Anyways, I'm currently drawing in my notebook of MT Lady since I have a hard time getting a good visualization without drawing out the appearance first, which made me become a pretty good artist, if only enough to be passable. Eventually everyone gets to class, and it begins shortly afterward, so, as third-year students, it's time to start thinking seriously about your futures and what you want to do with your lives. I could pass out some career aptitude tests, but the teacher snatches them off his desk. Why bother? Mostly everyone starts readying their quirks. The teacher then smiles and throws away the papers. "I know you all want to go into the hero track." Most of the class cheers and starts using their quirks, except Kikin and myself. Mainly because I don't have one. The teacher then says, yes, you've got some very impressive quirks, but no power usage allowed in school, get a hold of yourselves." Kikin then speaks up, Hey, teach. Causing everyone to go quiet to listen, don't lump me in with this bunch of losers. I'm the real deal, but these guys will be lucky to end up as sidekicks to some busted D-lister. Ha. Everyone then starts yelling at Kaken, you think you're better than us, Katsuki? Kaken smiles as he teases everyone, let's go, I'll take you all on. The teacher then reads out his form, huh, you've got impressive test results. Maybe you will get into UA High. I stiffen, oh no. I try to keep my head down while everyone whispers and murmurs, Kaken keeps taunting, that's why it's the only place worthy of me. He stands up on his desk while he keeps going, I aced all the mock tests. I'm the only one at the school who has a chance at getting in. I'll end up more popular than All Might himself, and be the richest hero of all time. People all around the world will know who I am, and it all starts with UA High. The teacher then looks at his clipboard, oh yeah, Midoriya, don't you want to go to UA too? Kaken freezes while everyone stares, here we go. Everyone then starts hysterically laughing at me as I sigh. One classmate says, Midoriya, you're kidding right? Someone else says, there's no way you're getting in without a quirk. I stand up, hold on, I've been training, I could get in. I hear Kaken yell as I spot him out of the corner of my eye. I jump back to the wall as he blasts my desk. I walk backward slowly with my arms outstretched. Kaken, calm dash. He grits his teeth, listen up Deku. I walk back into the wall, I glance back before looking back to Kaken, seeing smoke bellowing out of his hand he says, you're even worse than the rest of these damn rejects you quirkless wannabe. You really think they'd let someone like you in when they could have me? I keep my arms outstretched, what? No, can't we both get in together? Kaken preps his quirk, causing smoke to bellow out as he glares at me, you'd never hand out with the best of the best. You're nothing but a freak with those scrap on you, you'd die in the exams. The class giggles and chuckles at my expense while Kaken keeps going, the defenseless freak Izuku, you've been nothing but a failure since birth, they'll never let you in. I look down with my hair hiding my right eye as I grit my teeth, bastard. Time skip. I'm walking around the back of the school trying to find my notebook while I call Uncle Zawa, it goes to voicemail so I starts talking, hey uncle, can we postpone our training session today, I kinda need to take a break for today, by the tone in my voice you can probably tell I had a really bad first day for the last year. I then spot my notebook in the small school pond with fish nibbling on it. Call me when you get this, okay, bye. I walk over to the pond and stare at my notebook, my dreams have turned into fish food, alright that's enough give it back. I grab my notebook with the words hero diagrams on it. I grit my teeth as I think to myself, stupid jerk, what do I keep seeing in him? You're even worse than the rest of these damn rejects you quirkless wannabe. The defenseless freak Izuku, you've been nothing but a failure since birth. You're nothing but a freak with those scrap parts. You know, if you really want to be a hero that badly there actually might be another way. Just pray that you'll be born with a quirk in your next life, and take a swan dive off the roof of the building. I yell out and slam my right fist into the wall to my right, making a small crater in the wall. I'm panting as I look around, realizing I've been on autopilot and went to an underpass. I look at the wall I slammed my fist into and slowly remove my hand, causing some rubble to fall to the ground. I take a deep breath and regain my focus. No, who cares what they say, I will make it into UA, no matter what, I will make it in, just like All Might. I pump a fist. I smile widely as I raise my fist into the air and start laughing, just like him, when I suddenly hear something coming out of the sewers. I stop in my tracks and slowly turn around to a giant green sludge-like villain staring at me. His color a toxic green body towering over me, sickly yellow eyes and wide jagged teeth, his body not even humanoid. He smiles at me as he says, you'll make a perfect skin suit for me to hide in kid. He then charges towards me. I yell, oh no. And flare up my spines as I use the top 3 in my back to push me to the right and roll. I dash again to gain more distance before saying, leave me alone. He looks at me, no way, I need you if I am to escape that guy. I raise an eyebrow, escape who? He laughs, doesn't matter, now stay. He sends out a few tendrils towards me. I duck and dash to the right again, no thanks. He grits his teeth as he growls, stop that and hold still. He tries to attack me again. I fly around it and end up passing him, stopping at the entrance he's closest to, stay away, I'm warning dash. I suddenly hear the sewer drain pop off as something crawls out. I look past the villain as he looks back, both our eyes widen in surprise when we see All Might, with his tall and bodybuilder form, long gold hair with two even longer bangs rising straight up into the air. Keeping his ever-present public smile, he says, "Have no fear, you are safe, now that I am her, that is." The sludge villain swings at All Might, but he ducks under it before saying, "Take Sayas." My eyes widen, oh no. I dash out of the way straight to the wall and hold on. The villain tries again, but All Might was faster as he yells, "Sma-a-a-a-a-os-ch," and throws a punch, causing wind pressure to be thrown in one direction, ours. I hold on as tightly as I can, then I hear a pop as I see the sludge villain broke apart. The pressure subsides as All Might does a few stretches. "Are you alright, young man?" I blink before realizing he was talking to me. Oh, yeah. I nod. He nods as he finishes stretching. Good, good. Now, I must get this guy to the police," he says, looking throughout the underpass where the villain is scattered all over the place. I look around as well. "Yeah, is it okay if I help?" I will be careful, I promise." He laughs before replying, "Of course you can, there's no harm in some aid." I smile, "Thank you." After a bit of time, we manage to clean up the mess from the villain and put him into 2 soda bottles. Unfortunately, we had to empty them first, and to not waste it, All Might asked if I could drink one of them, to which I accepted. No one rejects an offer from All Might unless they're crazy or insane, though. Uncle Zo was not going to like that, being against my diet and all that. Anyways, after we cleaned up the underpass, All Might took the bottles. "Thank you again for your help." I smile, "No problem." He begins to walk away. Now, I must be off. A hero must always put their evildoers away in a quick fashion. My eyes widen. He's already leaving? No. I have to ask him. I look down to my arm. It's important to me to know if I really can. So, I call out, "Wait." He stops and looks to me. "Yes, what is it, young man?" I keep my head down. "I want to ask you something that's a bit of a secret, and I want to hear your completely honest opinion." He waves a hand. "Well, let's hear it." I ruby my right hand as I ask, "Can I be a hero?" All Might answers immediately, "Why, of course you can, anyone can be a hero dash." I interrupt him, "When I'm like this." I remove my glove and roll up my sleeve. He stares at it while I take off my mask. "I was in a villain attack years ago. I was young and I got hurt bad, like really bad. The doctors weren't sure I was going to make it, though one of them got word of what I was and found an alternative. The best way for me to survive was to replace the damage with prosthetics, experimental prosthetics." I could see All Might's smile waver at that last part before I continued. "My mom wanted me to have as close to a normal life as possible, well, as close as normal could be, being what I am." All Might high energy seemed much lower in his voice as he asked, "And what are you?" I looked away, quirkless. I saw All Might's smile fall for not even a second before it was up again. I explain, "These prosthetics can give me abilities and skills depending on my experiences, like thrusters for flight, a grappling ability, even a radar to detect my surroundings, etc." I take a deep breath. "So, with all that in mind, do you think I can be a hero?" He stands there for a few seconds before saying, "Well, that depends. Have you been training?" I blink as I face him. What?" His smile's wider. "Training, are you doing it?" I think for a second. Yeah, with my uncle. Why?" He puts his hands on his hips. "Well then, I say yes." My eyes widen from his response. "What?" He raises a hand as he counts out a few points. "You've been training, your prosthetics act as multiple quirk." He shakes his head. "The point is, you have training, and you obviously know how to use them, and they get stronger the longer you use them, so I say you'll do just fine." I stare at him in surprise before I smile and start tearing up. I quickly start wiping it away as All Might begins to panic a little, which was kind of funny coming from the #1 hero. Waving his arms, he says, "Hey, don't cry, I was trying to support you, why are you crying?" I smile as I reply, Don't worry, I'm just happy, these are happy tears, I'm fine." I keep wiping away my tears as All Might stands there. "Man, this is a little embarrassing." All Might then asks, "Young man, What's your name? I look up at him. Izuku Midoriya. He nods. Well then, young Midoriya, I'd like you to meet me at Takaba Beach tomorrow at dawn, early morning, alright. I raise an eyebrow, but okay. He turns around and begins walking away. I'd like to help you with on your way to being a hero, so don't be late. My eyes widen in shock before he turns back around and points at me. Oh, and bring your uncle, I'd like to better understand these prosthetics of yours. He then turns away and jumps into the sky. I stand there in pure shock and confusion, before I say to myself, did All Might just volunteer to train me for UA? Chapter 3, Training. I walk in through the door and say, I'm home. Mom peeks out of the kitchen and says, Izuku, you're home. I smile. Yeah, I said that. She rolls her eyes as I hear someone chuckle. I look to the right and see Uncle Zawa is here. Uncle. He waves. Hey kid. I wave. Hi, what are you doing here? He shows his phone. Got your call. I lose my smile as I look to the side. He frowns as he asks, mind talking about what happened? I rub my arm as I reply, they found out I was applying to UA, and they took it as a joke as always, except Kikin. I say the last part lower so only Uncle Zawa caught it. He nods and points down the hall, your room. I nod and he stands up, we both walk away as I say, call us when food's ready. She smiles, okay. We enter my room and I close the door, then Uncle Zawa asks, okay, what happened in there? I walk to my bed and sit down. Well, like I said, they found out I was applying to UA, so they laughed at me, like always. But Kikin. He took it more personally. He asked. I nodded. I then did a playback of what he said to me through my spines, none of them were to his liking. You're even worse than the rest of these damn rejects, you quirkless wannabe. The defenseless freak Izuku, you've been nothing but a failure since birth. You're nothing but a freak with those scrap parts. You know, if you really want to be a hero dash. I shake my head, ignore that one. I cut off the last one, I knew he'd take that one very seriously, I didn't think Kikin deserved that. Uncle Zawa sighed, kid, this is getting out of hand, if this keeps up, he's going to use more drastic measures, very deadly measures. I shake my head, no, he wouldn't do that, I know him, he's not like that. He stares me down as he says, you thought he was your friend. I glare at him, I know him enough to know he wouldn't go that far, he's not like that. He backs off, okay, I'll leave it. He looks at me a little bit before narrowing his eyes, I lean away, what? He keeps watching me, there's more you want to talk about, isn't there? I look away as I scratch my head, well, about that. He narrows his eyes, Midoriya. I put my hands up, alright. He leans back while I get sit normally, all the while he smiles with his signature Izuwa smile, good, so, what is it? I swallow, we're going to have to go to Takaba Beach tomorrow. He raises an eyebrow, why? I scratch my head again, well, I met All Might today and dash. He rolls his eyes, and you got his autograph and you wanted to show me, but you don't know if I'd care, well I don't. But I know how much it means to you, so, yeah, I'll see. I stare at him for a second, oh my god. He raises an eyebrow, what now? I yell as I throw my arms in the air, I forgot to get his autograph. I flop onto the bed. He looks at me in surprise, how could you have forgotten to get the symbol of peace and justice's autograph? I cover my face, I was distracted. He deadpans, what could have possibly have distracted you? I don't say anything. He then activates his quirk, Midori dash. I told about my prosthetics. I yell. There's immediate silence as he stares at me, I peek from my hand and see he's in complete shock, with his quirk still active. I stare at him, Uncle Zawa. He doesn't move, Uncle Zawa. Still nothing, are you okay dash? He blinks and throws his arms into the air, you told him what? I flinch back, I told him about my prosthetics. He looks freaked out, but he eventually takes a deep breath and face palms, Midoriya. I look down, I know. I just needed to hear it from him, you know. He watches me for a second before slowly nodding, yeah. I guess I do. I sigh, I'm sorry. He shakes his head, don't need to be sorry kid, I get it. You look up to him, You needed to hear it come from your idol. It's one thing to hear it from your family or a stranger, but an idol, that's a whole other league. It's like the world supports you after that, no matter how many times people say otherwise. I smile, yeah. He smiles back, alright, look, I'll call him up and we'll talk. I'll explain your prosthetics in more detail than what you probably told him, and also what you can do so far at this point in your training. I nod, okay. He smiles, and in return, I'll you a little secret that us staff members at UA have been told in regard to All Might. I frown, really? He shrugs, it'll make this training easier, so listen close. I lean in as he explains All Might's situation. Time skip. Tomorrow morning, early dawn, I'm walking towards Takaba Beach, both excited and tired. I arrive and I see a skinny man with clothes that seem a few sizes too big with long yellow hair, so, that's All Might when he's not in his hero form. I notice he's just looking around a small batch of space within all the junk on the beach. I form a mischievous smile as a horribly funny idea pops into my head. I slowly walk down the stairs of the beach, and put my stuff down carefully. I then sneak towards him, using Very's trash and junk to get closer. I finally get close enough to enact my plan by hiding behind a truck. I wait for a little bit before seeing him walk towards me. I smirk and jump out yelling, All Might. He jumps from shock, and falls on his back as some blood leaves his mouth. I giggle as he gets up and rubs his head, ugh. I walk over to him and extend a hand, sorry, I got a little Izawa there. He takes my hand and I pull him up as he says, it's alright, just don't do that again, scared the crap out of me. I look at the blood leaving his mouth, evidently. He wipes it off, how did you know? I shrug, Izawa, you can only hold your hero form for about 3 hours, right? Because of a severe injury you got. He sighs, yes, of course he told you. He shakes his head, anyways, glad you're here. Didn't know Izawa was you uncle, I didn't think he had any family. I chuckle, yeah, well, he didn't before us, we aren't actually related, we're just really close, he was there when I got hurt, or, so I hear. I look off to space. All Might nods, well that's good enough for me, yesterday we had a good talk about you and your prosthetics, they're pretty fancy stuff. Didn't know there was tech like that. I smile, thanks, it's odd sometimes, you know where at some point you can do most things without thinking, but when it's brought up, now you can't help but focus on it. He shrugs, like the whole you're now blinking on command thing. I nod, yeah, most of the time I don't notice it, I imagine it's what it feels like to have a mutation quirk, but when someone brings it up or I start actually thinking about it, I can't help but feel the cold hard metal on my skin as I move, it's like I can feel the difference from the inside of my prosthetics. I look down as I hug myself and rub my arms, it can be a little unbearable sometimes. All Might crosses his arms, yeah I can see how that might feel pretty bad, but hey. I loosen up and look at him, still hugging myself as he continues, at least you're a special kid that's going to UA. I've heard the training you've done, and how well you've done when sparring with Izawa, I think you're more than prepared but what's a little more? I chuckle, yeah, let's do this. He smiles, alright young Midoriya. He takes his hero form, let's get into it. I smile with confidence, right? What's the plan? He opens his arms, clean the beach. I stare at him as I blink a few times before I say, wait what? He walks around, while Izawa and I talked, we adjusted your training regiment, so now I will be taking care of your strength and possible power skills you may gain during this training, while Izawa will focus on combat, detection, and other skills during this training. This way none of us could get overworked in trying to train you. I mouth and oh as he keeps going, in other words, with me, you'll be cleaning up this beach and trying to learn new skills that will help improve your firepower, while Izawa will teach you in the woods and help you in combat and everything else. This was his choice not mine. I nod, okay, well, when do we start? He points to a fridge, right now, move that fridge out of here. I jump, what oh okay. I run to the fridge All Might is pointing to and start pushing it towards the stairs. And so, that's what I did for the next 10 months. I went back and forth every day, cleaning the beach of its garbage, sparring with Uncle Zawa, breaking larger garbage to carry easier, improving my radar with Uncle Zawa, etc. Thankfully, I managed to improve a lot in my combat and detection, My thrusters can last a lot longer than before, my radar is a little more precise and can differentiate from friend and foe, which is awesome, and my strength has never been better. I almost knocked out Uncle Zawa when we sparred once when I punched him with a right hook to the face. I can confidently say this was from the different training regiment. It was more balanced, which helped a lot, but it was hard to work with for a while. Not that I regret doing this training, I loved it. But man, I love my new skills. I'll break it down. Underscore 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 on. Name, Sparking Boost. Description: there are 5 rings within the prosthetic arm and legs rotate in differing patterns, allowing a boost in strength, speed, or defense. The boost isn't much of an improvement, but enough to be noticeable and make a difference. Backlash: these rings can be closely related to grinding wheels, spin for too long and they can shatter or overheat the surrounding metal. Underscore 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 on. Name, Shield. Description: Shield is capable of absorbing kinetic energy, which can be either absorbed into a prosthetic suited for kinetic energy, or can be released through a shield bash. The shield is capable of tanking one full powered punch from All Might. Backlash: if the shield absorbs more than its capacity, it'll discharge all the energy it has in every direction without control. Underscore 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 on. Name, Plasma Bullets. Description: the right forearm can adjust all 5 fingers, all 5 must shift, into plasma firing guns. Bullets aren't lethal, but highly painful. Contact causes a ripple-like visual effect while energy is distributed throughout the point of contact. Backlash: can only last in small, quick bursts before short-circuiting. 4 to 5 bullets per gun. Underscore 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 on. That's all of them. By the end of 10 months, I was exhausted, but I did it. I cleaned the beach. I'm standing on top of a pile of scrap and garbage, yelling at the top of my lungs, when I was finally out of breath, I fell forward towards the sandy ground, with All Might catching me just in haste. He smiles at me, excellent work. I smile, that was easier than expected. All Might laughs, you are one of a kind, young Midoriya, in more ways than one. He smiles down at me, you have certainly grown so much over these past 10 months. Uncle Zawa then approaches, I gotta hand it to ya kid, you did good for 10 months. He looks around, this place used to be a mess, not anymore. I slowly get off. All Might, thank you, both of you, for everything you've done for me. I look down at me right arm, clear robotic muscle giving my arm more definition. I smile, how did I get so lucky? All Might laughs as he replies, there's no such thing as luck, the work you've done here is proof enough of that. Uncle Zawa nods, agreed. He smirks, good work kid. Now though, I think you should head home and get ready, the exam is today, you need to be at your best for this, don't let us down. He says as he crosses his arms. I smile as I give him a nod, you got it, Uncle Zawa. I walk to my bag and put on my shirt and face mask and walk away. I turn to them and wave, see you later. They wave back as I leave. I smile with pure confidence, I can do this, I can do this, I'm going to win this exam. Chapter 4, The Entrance Exam. I arrive in UA in my middle school uniform, and I smile as I look up to the front of the school. I'm so excited for this I could burst. But I wonder how they'll be scoring us in the practical exam. What are you doing here, Freaksha? I turn back and see Kiken walking up to me with a glare. I smile, Kiken. His glare sharpens, don't play all nice with me. He walks up to me, you don't deserve to be here. I step to the side, keeping my smile, well, I'm here now, see you in UA. I wave. He keeps walking, shut up. I watch him head for the meeting and I sigh, still stubborn to the core, huh? What cha thinking about? I jump and look back, I then see a girl with pink skin and hair, along with eyes similar to my prosthetic, pupils and the sclera are black, but with orange irises, along with horns coming out of the top of her head with the same color. She starts laughing and hugs her stomach. Man, that was gold. She wipes a tear from her eye. You're jumpy, I just wanted to know what you were smiling about. I take a deep breath to calm down, just thinking about him. I look back at Kikin walking away. She looks past me and spots him too. You know him? I nod. Yeah, we were in middle school together, but we're not friends, at least, not anymore, even though I try to be. She looks away. Oh. I look back to her and see she's clearly uncomfortable. I shake my head, but it's fine. I pump my fist as I look up. I'm more focused on this exam. I'm so excited. She smirks. I can tell. I think I got the exam in the bag. How confident are you? I smile. Very. I check the time. I got to go. See you later. I wave as I run off. Eventually I make it to the exam room where the meeting is for those taking the entrance exam, and I sit next to Kikin, much to his displeasure. Light shines to the front, revealing the voice hero, Present Mike. He says, "What's up UA candidates? Thanks for tuning in to me, your school DJ. Come on and let me hear yat." He holds an ear to everyone, waiting for a response. He looks down and extends his arms to the side with a small shiver. Keepin' it mellow, huh? That's fine, I'll skip straight to the main show. Let's talk about how this practical exam's going to go down. Okay, are YS ready? Yeah. He pauses for a response. I chuckle quietly and awkwardly. He wasn't kidding when Uncle said he was loud. Kikin's eye twitches. Shut up ya damn nerd. I flinch. Sorry. I whisper. Present Mike continues talking, like your application says, today you rocking boy and girls will be out there conducting 10 minutes mock battles my friends. After I drop the mic here, you'll head to your specified battle centers. Sound good? No one replies and just looks at their cards. Then Kikin says, probably talking to himself, ah, I see. They're splitting us up so we can't work with anyone we know. I look at my card then his. Oh yeah, you're right, our student numbers are one after the other, but we're assigned to different battle centers. Kikin glares at me. Get your eyes off me card. I lean away as he looks down at his card and growls, damn, I was looking forward to crushing you. I smile as I roll my eyes. Present Mike continues his speech. Okay, let's check out your targets. A screen appears above him showing off 3 blacked out figures. There are 3 types of foe villains in every battle center. You'll earn points based on their level of difficulty, so better choose wisely. The screen changes to an 8-bit Present Mike hoping on robots gaining points as he continues. Your goal in this trial is to use your quirk to raise your score by shredding these foe villains like a mid-song guitar solo. He then leans a little forward into the mic and waves a finger, but check it, make sure you're keeping things heroic. Attacking other examines is a UA no-no ya dig. Then someone in the crowd stands up and raises a hand. Excuse me, but I have a question. Present Mike stands upright and points at him. Hit me. Light shines on him. He has dark blue hair, a light brown suit with a black tie and white undershirt, as well as glasses. He points to a piece of paper he's holding and says, on the printout, you've listed 4 types of villains, not 3. With all respect, F, this is an error on official UA materials. It is shameful. He puts a hand to his chest. We are exemplary students, we expect the best from Japan's most notable school. A mistake such as this won't do. My right eye twitches. I don't like him. He then turns around and points at me. Additionally, you with the play mask. I raise an eyebrow and point at myself. He then says, you've been muttering this entire time. Stop that. If you can't bother to take this seriously, leave. You're distracting the rest of us. I glare at him and my right eye glows. He seems to notice before I say, the only nuisance here is you. Present Mike wasn't done, so. I stand up a bit and put my right arm on the desk in front of me and have my eye glow brighter to be easily seen in the dark room. Sit down. Now. He seems a bit startled before Present Mike says, all right, settle down you two. I sit down and take a deep breath while Present Mike continues, the 4th villain is worth 0 points, that guy's just an obstacle we'll be throwing in your way, there's one in every battle center. The screen shows 8-bit Present Mike again coming up on a 0-pointer, think of it as a hurdle you should try to avoid, it's not that it can't be beaten. 8-bit Present Mike then starts running away. Beaut, there's kinda no point. He then looks back to us and extends a hand. I recommend my listeners try to ignore it and focus on the ones top of the charts. The rude student bows, thank you very much, please continue. He stands upright before sitting back down, the light shining on him turning off. Present Mike continues, that's all I've got for you today. I'll sign off with a little present, a sample of out-school motto, as General Napoleon Bonaparte once laid down, a true hero is one who overcomes life's great misfortunes. Now that's a tasty soundbite. He then gives a scary look at everyone, you ready to go beyond? He then stands upright with his hands in the air as the school famous phrase pops up on screen, let's hear a plus ultra. There was complete silence before Present Mike finished, good luck, hope you practiced hitting more than just books. I look back down at my card, Battle Center B, better get moving. I stand up and head to the changing rooms. I change into a better set of clothes, which black short for more freedom for my legs, a green t-shirt. I'm also not wearing my face mask. Uncle Zoe recommended I didn't wear clothes that would get in the way of my spines. My mom was running out of clothes with me burning them away over and over again. As soon as people saw my prosthetics, some starting at them, which was very uncomfortable to be the center of attention, so I changed quickly and left. I soon arrived at the battle center. There was already a few others who were there, and not many showed any sign of concern or worry, which made me even more nervous. I look at all of them from afar, they all look so confident for this exam. Well, I guess they did train for this like I did, so why am I so nervous? I then look past a few people and spot the pink girl stretching. Hey, it's that girl again. I didn't exactly introduce myself. So, I start walking towards her, but someone had other ideas. A hand lands on my left shoulder, and I turn around, seeing the boy with glasses is watching me. Oh great. He then looks past me, probably at the pink girl before saying, looks like she's trying to focus on the trials ahead. He looks back to me, what are you going to do, distract her and ruin her chances to succeed? My eyes widen in surprise, what? I shove him off, no. I was going to distract her from being nervous. What is with you and looking down on everyone? Everyone looks towards us. The boy crosses his arms and says, I'm not looking down on anyone. I raise an eyebrow, really, then what was that back at the meeting? He hardens his stare, I was merely relaying my thoughts. I glare at him, and that's not looking down on us dash. Alright, let's start. I hear Present Mike yell. I waste no time and run into the battle center, forgetting the argument, and refocusing on the exam. Here we go. I then see a one-pointer and I smirk, there you are. It looks at me as its camera focuses on me, target a key dash. I throw my right arm straight through the robot, separating the upper torso of the robot from its wheels. I then quickly turn around and use my left arm and leg to rip off one of the robot's arms off to use as a weapon, all while it was still falling. I glance to my right and see a three-pointer. I smirk as I throw the arm, impaling the robot's head, causing it to shut down. I fly up and send my grapple, grabbing the arm still in the robot's head and yank it free. I then spot a two-pointer and use in the air and throw the arm through the robot's neck, implanting the arm into the ground. I notice a one-pointer making its way towards the main on the ground. I then dash down and spin, grabbing the arm in the ground while I'm facing to the sky. I look and notice the other examines are just starting to spread out as they enter the battle center. Looks like I'm getting a head start. I spin, pulling out the arm and landing on my feet. I immediately dash for the one-pointer and swing the arm like a sword in a backhand grip, cutting the robot in half. 7 points, keep it going. I mutter as I fly ahead. Throughout the entire battle center, I'm hopping from one foe villain to the next, cutting, punching, impaling, and crushing. Every once in a while I had to hop in and save a few examines from getting hurt because they were getting cocky, even saving people from collateral from people's quirks. I was doing pretty good. I eventually lost track of how many points I got, but I didn't stop until the exam was over. I wasn't going to slack off, but I did hold off on using my plasma guns. I can fire only 6 or 7 bursts before short-circuiting my arm. I wasn't going to risk it if I could help it, and I would be very thankful that I held it back till the end. I somersault in the air before dashing down with an axe kick into a three-pointer, crushing it to the point it bent in half. I take a few steps back as I pant heavily, trying to catch my breath. Oh man. I was not prepared for this. Suddenly the ground begins to shake, and with my exhaustion, I fall on my back. Ugh. Ugh. I look over and notice someone else fall over, as well as a piece of rubble breaking off a building above them. My eyes go wide as I send my grapple, look out. I grab them and pull them out of the way as the rubble hits the ground where they were. The examinee looks at me as I recall my hand, thank you. I stand up and use the broken three-pointer as support, no problem, now go. I point away and they run. I look over to the area with more destruction and see a giant robot that easily towers over the other buildings in the battle center. I then say in shock, oh, my God. I take a step away from the giant zero-pointer before looking back to the others, go run. They waste no time in listening and run away. I was about to say the same, but I then hear someone call out, ow. I look back and see Think Pink Girl from earlier, trapped under rubble from the zero-pointer arriving. She's struggling to break free. See, come on. She's obviously panicking. I see the zero-pointer continuing to advance without any notice of the girl. I look between the two as I try to think of something. What do I do? What do I do? There's no way I can clear all that rubble. I'm too tired. I can't take down that zero-pointer for the same reason. I look down at my arm. What do I do? I look up and see it crush the roof of a nearby building, with little to no effort. Destruction. I look at my arm again as I clench my fist. Who cares what happens to me? She'll die if I don't do something, so I'll do something, everything I can. I stomp my right foot forward and crouch as low as I can as I bring both my arms back, the back of my forearms facing the sky, and activate all my thrusters, from the ones on my arms all the way down the soles of my feet, and fly. I blast off the ground so hard that the around beneath where I stood shattered. I fly so fast the robot could barely react to me heading towards it. I then throw my grapple around its neck and have it grab the cable leaving my arm. I retract it as I hold tight and fly ahead, tightening it around its neck tight as I blast my thrusters as hard as I can. Unfortunately, it's not enough and I start getting slowly pulled back, but I don't stop. I push my thrusters harder and harder and harder, even when I have nothing left, I keep pushing it. I eventually turn around and grab the cable with my other hand and on that too, giving it all I've got as I close my eyes shut, hard. I grit my teeth as I pull harder and harder, come on, just pull. I then feel something snap in my prosthetics as they start burning up. I open an eye and see the flame turning blue and the zero-pointer slowing down. I'll take it. I close my eyes again as I keep pulling, even harder, even though I feel my body burning I keep going, I have to. I then feel myself get lower and moving backward. I open my eyes and see the zero-pointer leaning back as I pull it down. My eyes go wide as I look back and see myself heading towards the ground. I turn around and pull as hard as I can as the zero-pointer falls backward. I ungrapple it and fly away at an alarming rate. I avoid the ground by leveling out before my thruster fail me and I bounce, tumble, and skid across the ground. I'm face down in the ground when I hear a loud crash. I look up and see the zero-pointer on its back, turtled. I chuckle weakly as I say, that worked. I look at my arm and see smoke bellowing out of my thrusters. Well, I'm done. I hear Present Mick's voice, but I don't process what he says before my vision goes blurry and I black out. Chapter 5, Upgrade and Waiting. I wake up in a bed as my whole body's sore from exhaustion. I try to move but my right arm spikes in pain and I groan in response, kid. I open my eyes and see Uncle Zoa sitting in a chair beside me. I smirk, what, worried for you nephew uncle? Didn't think you'd go that soft on me. He chuckles as he shakes his head, you scared the hell out of me kid. I sigh, sorry. He crosses his arms, hey, don't apologize to me, the staff here should be doing that. The zero-pointer in you battle center had gone haywire, it wasn't responding to any commands we gave it. You did the right thing saving that girl. I then ask, where am I? He smirks, you're in recovery girl's office. She was going through the battle centers and heal them, but since her quirk wouldn't be effective for you, she put you here to rest while I made a call. I raise an eyebrow, call? Who did you see a dash? The doors to the medical room suddenly flies open and there stands a girl with long blonde hair with white streaks, purple eyes with blue flecks, a white lab coat, a red shirt, and purple pants. My eyes go wide, oh no. The woman glares at me as she crosses her arms, Midoriya, what do you have to say for yourself? I sweat as I stutter, sorry. Her eye twitches and walks up to me. I close my eyes and flinch, but nothing happens. I open my eyes and see her sit to my left as she rummages through her bag. I look at Uncle Zoa before I look back to her, Dr. Garen. She keeps rummaging as she says, if you weren't in bed I'd hit you, but you went through enough already. I saw the footage of the exam, I know why you acted the way you did, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. I sigh and look at the ceiling, sorry. She sighs, it's alright, you're fine now, and that's all that matters. She then pulls out a laptop and opens it up, I groan, and she smiles, don't worry, I already checked up on you while you were out, after your thrusters stopped smoking. I look at her as I slowly sit up, in pain, but I got up, okay, but why did I need a checkup? She glances at me, because you did a major thing to your systems. She looks back to her laptop as she types on the keyboard, and we needed to know what exactly that was while we could. I turn to Uncle Zawa, what is she talking about? He smirks, just listen. I look back to her as she turns the laptop around, showing complex code that I still don't understand, what's this? She smiles as she rolls her eyes, this. She points to the code, is the code that controls your systems. These commands say that all your skills and abilities only activate at a set limit, in other words, your X-ray vision can only go for a set distance, not any further, not any shorter. Same for your spark boost, you activate it, and it will only go at a set speed, not any faster, not any slower. I nod, okay, that I know. Dr. Garin continues, but after the entrance exam, this is old code, your systems no longer use it, you use this. She then tabs the spacebar and the code gets overlaid by a new piece of code, in a completely new language. My eyes go wide, whoa. She smirks, neat, right? Thanks to my quirk I've been able to translate what it says, but it was still a shock to see it appear. She turns her tablet around, from what I could gather so far, it seems your systems now work like a gauge instead of a switch. I raise an eyebrow, what does that mean? Uncle Zawa then speaks up, it means you're in a whole new league, kid. I look at him, huh? He smirks while Dr. Garin explains, what he and I are trying to say Midoriya, is that you can now control just how much power you give your abilities. She smiles, you can now, push your eye to have X-ray vision go farther, spin your spark boost faster, and more importantly. She spins her laptop that shows a muted video of me having a long white flame leave my thrusters as I pull the 0-pointer down to the ground, burn your thrusters hotter for more thrust. I watch in amazement as I see the 0-pointer struggle to stay upright before I pull it down and fly away, wow. She closes the laptop, you are a lot of things Midoriya, and I can say with full confidence that determined is one of them. I smile and bow, as best I could sitting down, thank you Dr. Garin. She scoffs, don't thank me, all you did was exceed my expectations in how you'd pass the entrance exam, I just gave you a checkup. She then begins to walk away, good luck in UA kid, with how you performed in the exam. Even if they were all crazy or insane, they'd still accept you, they could only be brain dead to not accept you. Hell, that might be an understatement. She turns back as she opens the door, but please text me when you get in, I'd like to do one last checkup before you go to class. I smile as I nod, of course Dr. Garin. She smiles as she walks away and closes the door. Uncle Zawa and I watch the door for a bit before he speaks up, just so you know, when classes begin, you're going to be in my class. He looks at me with a hard stare, got it? I nod hastily, gee got it? I look down in thought, remembering the girl that was trapped, how is the girl? The one I saved. He smiles, she's fine, she had a sprained ankle from the rubble, but recovery girl healed that easy. I sigh in relief, that's good, and the 0-pointer. He shrugs, once it was on its back it couldn't get back up, so when the exam ended, around the time you passed out, All Might came in and destroyed it for safe measure he called. He rolled his eyes as he quoted All Might. I chuckle, that does sound like him. Uncle Zawa scoffs, sure does. He looks back to me, when you started pulling at that 0-pointer, I thought you weren't going to pull it off, but when it started slowing down and even receding, man I couldn't believe it, it was incredible. I think Nizu heard me cheer you on quietly. I smirk as he continues, but when you pulled it down and hit the ground, I almost ran right out the room then and there, and when you stayed on the ground, with your hands still set in grapple mode, just splayed out everywhere. He shakes his head as he looked down, I was so scared. I look away, yeah, sorry about that. We sit there in silence for a few seconds, just thinking of what happened in the entrance exam, then I speak up and say, well, did I look cool? He looks up with a raised eyebrow, then scoffs as he smirks and shakes his head. Yeah, you looked pretty cool. I smile. Alright then, now if anyone calls me a freak because of what I did at the entrance exam, I'll take it as praise. He chuckles as he stands up. Come on, recovery girl said that you should be fine when you wake up, let's get you home. I nod. Okay. I turn and stand up off the bed and follow Uncle Zawa and go home. This was an eventful exam. Over the next week, it was pretty calm. My whole life I've been training for UA, so after the entrance exam, Uncle Zawa and All Might agreed that I should take a break and relax, and I agreed. Throwing kicks and punches to a punching bag, hiya. Throws a kick that knocks off the ceiling. A little, I wasn't used to not training, so I did the best I could. I kept eating me average meals. I would train, yes, but only on a punching bag or testing out my new limits, by increasing and decreasing my thrusters, or hastening and slowing the spinning discs. It was still training, but why more lackluster compared to what I used to do. It was the only thing I could do to stop myself from going crazy. Eventually, my letter would arrive, and I would get the answer that's been nagging at me since I woke up in recovery girl's office. Did I pass? I'm watching the mirror as I bring my right arm up, horizontally crossing me, before igniting the thrusters with a red flame. I can feel it pushing my arm a bit, maybe as a boost in a punch or kick, or just for appearance. I could use it as a threat-like effect, like Uncle Zawa uses his quirk as a threat when he glares at people. Yeah, that might work. I just need to be careful to not give it too much oomph if I'm actually angry, so I don't set it to orange and fly off. Should I train with my emotions just to be safe? That might be a good idea, especially if I might lose control of my powers now that I've been given more control. Yeah, it would be a good idea. I just need to find out what kind of training might war dash. Izuku. I jump back, AHH. I accidentally boost my arm's thrusters to blue and spin off into my cabinet, then falling on my head before my feet hit the ground as well, going over my head, as I look at my mom, upside down. Hi. She covers her mouth. Oh my goodness, Izuku, are you okay? I stay still. Yep, just, give me a minute, I'm just going to sit here. I close my eyes. That training sounds nice. Mom speaks again. Okay, but I just wanted to say. I open my eyes and see her showing me an envelope. She smiles. UA came by, tell what you got, I'll be waiting outside. She places down the letter and leaves my room. Good luck. She closes the door. I glance at the letter, then back to the door. I then push off to the side and fall on my side. I sit up and pick up my letter, staring at it. I then stand up, start opening my letter. I see a piece of paper inside, so I grab it and pull it out. I then notice there's something else inside. I pull it out and find it's only some metal object. I raise an eyebrow and place it on the table and unfold the piece of paper, but before I could start reading, the object turns on and a holographic screen pops up. All Might is right up to the screen as he says, "Boo. I am here as a projection now." I jump. What the dash? All Might. I narrow my eyes. I knew he'd be in UA, but I didn't think he'd be a part of the letters. He starts talking. I know it's been a while, but with great power comes with a great amount of paperwork. He clears his throat before bowing. I apologize, young man. I watch All Might as I listen to what he says. You may have already known, but I didn't come to the city just to fight villains. You're looking at the newest UA faculty member. I roll my eyes as I smile. Show off. A hand shows up from the side that gets All Might's attention. Huh? Yes, what's the matter? Who's showboating? Oh sorry, I'll wrap it up, but I must show him something first. Wait, I have to do how many of these things? He sighs as refocuses. He puts a hand up as the other guy gives the OK signal. Right, so, moving on. Even though you passed the written test, you were not able to pass the practical exam. My eyes go wide. What? I didn't. I look down. How could I have dash? All Might's voice then starts up again. S highest place record holder. You did incredibly. I look up in surprise. What? All Might pulls out a remote. Take a look. He presses a button and shows off me rescuing people during the exam as well as fighting foe villains. Throughout the exam you fought villain after villain, raking up points in haste, but you also saved those in danger, either from the robots to other examines quirks, raking up not only villain points, but also rescue points. I watch in amazement as I see myself saving others as well as taking down villains at the same time. All Might continues, a panel of judges watches, and score how many points you deserve for each rescue. Then, you did the impossible. The screen changes, showing me pull on the 0-pointer to save the pink girl trapped under the rubble. You did everything you could to save that girl, and pushed so hard to even overwork yourself to unconsciousness. How can a hero school reject someone who's so dedicated to saving others, no matter the cost of themselves? Throughout the exam, you managed to score 63 villain points by destroying the faux villains, and through your heroic acts, you managed to obtain a total of 82 rescue points. With these points added together, you obtained a total of 145 points. I stand up fast, knocking my chair to the floor as I stare at the point value on the screen, showing where I placed in the exam. I'm first. All Might's smile widens. The points you obtained have only gone so high once before, when I took the entrance exam, securing a good spot in first place with 160 points. I smile as I look at the UA record scoreboard, with my name only one tier lower than All Might, secured into second place. All Might turns to the camera and extends a hand. Welcome, Izuku, to your Hero Academia. The message ends and disappears while I just stand there, looking where the video was, my smile slowly widening more and more until I can't make it any bigger. I then clench my fists as I slowly crouch, quietly squealing until I can't get any lower to the ground. I jump in the air and yell, I passed. Chapter 6, Izuwa's Test. I'm running through the halls in my new school uniform with my mask over the left of my face and my glove over my right hand. I'm watching the doors and signs as I jog by, getting more and more nervous as time goes by. Gritting my teeth as I watch the signs for the classroom. 1A, 1A, come on, where is it? I take a deep breath. I should have come sooner so I didn't have to be in such a rush to find my class. I then spot the 1A sign with a high and large door right below it with the words 1A on it as well. Yes, I found it. I look at the door now that I'm closer, and I realize just how big it really is. What? Why is the door so big? Are there giants in here? I take a deep breath. Well, whoever is in here are people who passed the entrance exam. They deserve to be here as much as I do. I reach out and open the 1A door room and see Kaken being berated by the boy in glasses. Just my luck. The boy in glasses says, take your feet off of that desk now. Kaken gives a teasing smirk as he glances at the kid. Huh. Glasses replies, it's the first day and you're already disrespecting this academy by scuffing school property, you cretin. Kaken smirks, you're kidding me, right? Your old school put a stick up your ass, or were you born with it? I sigh and shake my head. The other kid thinks for a second before saying, let's start over. I'm Tinya Itza, from the Tsume Private Academy. Kaken doesn't care and replies, Tsume, huh? So you must think you're better than me. I'm going to have fun tearing you a new one. The kid, who I now know is Itza, steps back and gasps, you would threaten me, your own classmate? Are you sure you're in the right place? Kaken scoffs and looks away, before noticing me at the doorway, along with Itza, who says, it's him. Everyone in the class hears this and looks at me directly. I laugh awkwardly as I say, hi. Good morning. Itza then starts walking up to me saying, hello, my name is Tinya Itza from the Dash. I put my hands up in front of me and say, yeah, I know. He stops in his tracks. I sigh, I'm Izuku Midoriya, it's super nice to meet you. I smile, to try and hide the nervous energy inside me. Itza then says, Midoriya, you realized there was more to the practical exam, didn't you? I raise an eyebrow, huh? He keeps going, you must be very perceptive, and I completely misjudged you. I admit, as a student you are far superior to me. He looks away. Is all I could say. I don't think so. Hey, I recognize those spikes, it's you. I turn around and see the pink girl again. I smile, oh, it's you, looks like that rubble didn't mess you up too bad, and you passed. She smiles, yep, thanks to you I'm a-okay, that was amazing, I didn't think you could pull that giant thing down like that, it was incredible. She then realizes something, oh, I forgot to introduce myself. She poses and makes a peace sign over her right eye, hey there, name's Mina Ashido. I smile back, thanks for the compliments, and the name's Izuku Midoriya. She breaks out of her pose, pleasure to meet you Midoriya. I nod, likewise, now. I look over Ashido and say, everyone's here Uncle Zawa, you can start work now. Ashido raises an eyebrow before looking back. She recoils in surprise. What the dash? Uncle Zawa sighs, still on the ground in his yellow sleeping bag before saying, Midoriya, while in this school you will refer to me as Mr. Aizawa or Sir. Understand? I scratch the back of my head. Why yes sir. He stands up. Good. Hello everyone, my name is Shota Aizawa, your teacher. Everyone's surprised as they say, our teacher. He then reaches into his sleeping bag and pulls out a gym uniform. Okay, put these on and head outside. He tosses the one he had to me. I catch it and look at it. Sir. Shouldn't I wear a different one? I look up. You were dash. Mr. Aizawa activates his quirk and glares at me. As his scarf expands and twirls around, I stiffen, and never mind, we'll see you out there. I salute. He sighs and closes his eyes as his quirk deactivates. Good, now get a move on. He walks away. I sigh, here we go. We all then head to the changing rooms and start change into our uniforms, which caused me to get a lot of attention, as always. I take off my undershirt, which reveals my right arm for everyone to see as well as all the muscle I got from training my whole life. Whoa, dude, you're ripped. I look over and see a guy with long spiky red hair smiling at me as he looks me over. I smile, thanks, you too. He looks at his arms as he flexes. Yeah, had to stay in shape if I want to be a hero. I nod, yeah, same here. Then someone else spoke up, a guy with yellow hair with a black streak in it. Yeah, and don't forget about your quirk dude, those metal limbs are so cool. I chuckles as I take off my mask and glove. Thanks. The guy in yellow then says, though, I wonder where you got the scars, and they're only at the ends of your metal parts, what's with that? I look away. Oh, that, I chuckle nervously, it's see complicated? He raises an eyebrow. Complicated, what does that mean? I squirm as I keep changing, but another guy with multiple arms then says, hey, just leave it, he looks uncomfortable. The other guy shrugs, okay, sorry. I smile, it's okay, it's just hard to talk about. I keep changing. I'm finishing putting on the shirt when someone puts a hand on my shoulder. Hey. I look back, it's the guy with several arms, and several feet taller than me. He then says, I saw your score for the entrance exam, and everyone's heard what you did to the 0-pointer, I think you've more than earned your place here, and I know the UA records pretty well, you placed second only to All Might, that was pretty co-. There was a slam of someone's locker, and we all turned to see Kakan glaring at me. Whatever, you're still not better than me, freak show. He then storms out of the room and slams the door shut. I sigh, there he goes again. The tall guy says, you know each other. I nod, you could say that. The guy in red says, now that wasn't very manly. Another guy says, you said it? Then the guy with yellow hair said, what's his deal? I shrug, you get used to it. The guy in red then speaks up, oh, by the way Midoriya, I wanted to ask you something. I look at him, yeah, what is it? He asks, why did you call Aizawa Uncle Zawa? I stiffen as the yellow guy says, so I'm not the only one wondering that? Phew, I thought I was missing something. I look away and adjust my clothes to have my spines go through the holes in the uniform. Oh, that, well, I've known him for a while, since I was 4 in fact, he actually trained me with my quirk, since it was so difficult to understand, he helped me use it, and fight. I just started calling him uncle after a while and it stuck. The guy in red smiles, that's so manly. The guy in yellow says, seriously, you're so cool. The tall guy behind me nods and says, indeed, I'm impressed. I chuckle nervously as I finally get my back spines out. Well, if that's it for the questions, then I'll be outside, see ya there. I then quickly leave and line up with those already waiting. Eventually everyone else finishes changing and lines up with the rest of us, with the pink girl standing next to me and the red guy, the tall guy and Aiza are also standing next to me. Aizawa then stand in front of all of us and says, alright everyone, you're all going to be taking a quirk assessment test. Everyone except me say, a quirk assessment test. I shrug, alright. A girl with brown hair bangs steps up and says, but orientation, we're going to miss it? Uncle Mr. Aizawa replies, if you really want to make it to the big leagues, you can't waste your time on pointless ceremonies. Everyone whispers and murmurs while I keep looking ahead, Mr. Izawa then says, here at UA, we're not tethered to traditions, that means I get to run my class however I see fit. You've been taking standardized tests for most of your lives. He takes out his phone and shows several activities, but you never got to use your quirks in physical exams before. I smile, most haven't, but you made sure to test it at the end of every year. I doubt these will be the same, but I know the basics of these type of tests, I just got to be careful. He continues, the country's still trying to pretend we're all created equal by not letting those with the most power excel. It's not rational. One day the Ministry of Education will learn. I take a deep breath, here we go. Izawa looks at me, Midoriya, you got first place in the entrance exam, what was your furthest softball throw middle school? I look up trying to recall, I think it was 72 He nods, alright, try throwing with your quirk. He tosses me a ball and I catch it. I walk up to the white circle on the ground and take a deep breath. Mr. Izawa says, anything goes, just keep it in the circle. I think for a second before I get an idea. I turn to Izawa and say, question. He raises an eyebrow, yes. I answer, what if I keep a hold of the ball but it leaves the circle before I throw it, is that still allowed? He stares at me before showing a small smirk, yes, only you have to stay in the circle. I smile and nod, okay. I face forward again as I get ready. I then take a step back with my right foot and extend my right arm, that's holding the ball, out to the side as best I can. I then lean to the left as I lift my right foot. I burn my thrusters orange on my right arm and leg and start spinning. I spin faster and faster. I then send out my grapple a couple feet away from me. I keep spinning till the world blurs together before I retract my grapple again. I then plant my right foot forward as my wrist hits the end of my arm before I throw it forward. My hand snaps in place as I let go of the ball, throwing it away as my hand slams into the ground, cracking it. I stay there to catch my breath as I wait to hear my score. After a second or two Mr. Izawa says, all of you needs to know your maximum capabilities, it's the most rational way to becoming a pro hero. I look over, see he's showing the class my results and they seem shocked, especially Kaken. Then the guy with yellow hair says, whoa, 702 are you kidding me? I sigh in relief, alright, good score. Ashido hops in place as she says, I wanna go, that look like fun. I stiffen, then someone else says, this is what I'm talking about, using our quirks however we want. Mr. Izawa brings his phone down, so this looks like fun, huh? I sigh as I stand up. Mr. Izawa continues, you have 3 years here to become a hero, you think it's going to be all games and playtime? He smiles sinisterly, idiots, today you'll compete in 8 physical tests to gauge your potential, whoever comes in last will have none, and be expelled immediately. Everyone looks at Mr. Izawa shocked, huh? The girl with bangs says, you can't send us home, we just got here. Even if it wasn't our first day, that's not fair. My eye twitches and I retort, the world is hardly fair. Everyone looks at me as I cross my arms. There are natural disasters around the world happening possibly right now, killing hundreds of people. There might be a mugging happening right down the road in an alley and someone is bleeding out because they were shot. But no one's there to save them, no one knows they're there, and they'll die alone, cold, and robbed of the things they value. Everyone looks unnerved as I glare at her. Is there any fairness in that? She stays quiet and looks down. Mr. Izawa then speaks up again, the world is full of unfairness, but it's our job to combat that unfairness. He looks through his phone again. As heroes, your job is to help those in need, fight villains, rescue civilians, stop disasters, etc. In other words, the odds will always be against you, so you will have to get used to it. The other students all start to get serious as I look at my arm. I lost so much at an age when it shouldn't have happened, but I'll use what I've got to show the world I can be a hero, quirkless, cyborg, or not. I will be a hero. I clench my fist, I promise the world that much. Izawa smiles as he points to everyone, show me it's no mistake you're here, let's begin. Everyone is moved away from the softball throw and we move to 50 dash. The first up is Itza and a girl with long green hair and white skin, but she seems to have a mutation quirk to have similar traits to a frog. Mr. Izawa called her Ajui. They both get into their places as a robot counts them down. When it hits 0 a gunshot is heard and they run. Itza uses the engines in his legs to dash ahead of the frog girl and finishes in 3.13 seconds, with the frog girl finishing a second later. Next up, is the girl with bangs who is named Yurika, and someone who seems to be completely invisible named Hagakure, except for the clothes they wear. Hagakure gets ready while Yurika touches her clothes, probably using her quirk. I'll use my quirk on my clothes, oh my shoes too. Yeah, that's what she was doing. They start running when the gunshot is fired. Hagakure outruns their opponent while Yurika struggles to keep pace. They eventually pass the line as the slower girl sighs in relief and touches her fingers together. I narrow my eyes. I guess her fingers making contact with each other causes a deactivation. Does it have to be from the other hand, or could it be from each? The next two get set up. Ashido versus someone with blonde hair and a big metal belt around their waist with a big blue lens in the center where his stomach is. His name is Aoyama. Ashido gets down into position while the other guy just turns around and puts his hands behind his head. You're just not trying, Mon Ami. He then crouches down. You just have to. The gun fires and he jumps up before releasing a laser from his belt. Let your power shine. Pushing him away. Not even a second later it stops, and he falls onto the ground. As he gets back up, Ashido passes him. He fires again and crosses the finish line just after her. He then poses before looking back to a few others as he says, shooting my beautiful beam for more than second hurts my tummy. I deadpan as I record that. Good to know. Mr. Aizawa then call me, Midoriya, your turn. I look over and see Kaken waiting for me, clearly not happy. I walk over and get into position. I smile at him, but he just glares at me. The robot counts us down while I warm up my thrusters. Here we go. I hear the gunshot and I push myself forward and lunge. I let my arm fall back with my forearm square with my body as I fire up all my thrusters in orange, launching myself way ahead of Kaken. I cross the finish line and the robot says, 1.73 seconds. Before righting myself and skidding to a stop, deactivating my thrusters in the process. I jump in place, yes. Everyone else goes and then we move on to a grip strength test. This one was fast, we all went at once. I scored a good 327 kgs on that test. The next we did side steps, which I knew was going to be a bit of a problem. I looked down at my legs. I don't have a spring-like function, and I can't fly from one side to the other. It take too long to switch directions. I can't hover with the thruster in my solace and dash side to side. My feet need to touch the ground. I ruffle my hair. What do I do? Mineta, your turn. I look up and see a small boy with purple hair and balls on his head. He walks up to the position and starts using his quirk. He takes off the balls on his head and puts them on both sides of his position and clusters them together. I tilt my head. What is he doing? Mr. Aizawa gets impatient and says, hurry up. Mineta jumps, right sir. He then jumps into one of his ball clusters. It pushes him away and sends him into another, which bounces him back to the other, then again, then again. I watch in amazement. Amazing, his quirk works on everything except him and what's on him. I then get an idea. Wait. I look down at my legs again, bouncing. Maybe I could dash. Midoriya, your turn. I look up and see Mr. Aizawa watching me. I nod, okay. I walk up and get myself ready. I take a deep breath and bend down. Here goes nothing. I activate the thrusters in both legs and solace with red flames and hop to the right and pull my left leg up. When my foot lands, the spines in my right leg point down as the flame turns orange between them as well as in my solace, which pushes me to the left. I then bring my left leg down and bring my right leg up as I turn it red again. When my left leg lands I repeat the process, and again, and again. I keep going until the timer beeps and I stop. I take a deep breath as I deactivate my thrusters. I smile as I walk back to the class. I smile to myself. That went better than expected, though I should work on that for the future. After everyone else goes we move on to a different test, the long jump. I passed it. After that, we went back to the softball throw. It was Yurika's turn. She lightly tossed the ball, but it kept going up and up and up and up, when eventually the phone beeped and he showed us the results. We all look in surprise as we all say, infinite. The guy in yellow, who I now know as Kaminari, says, that's insane. Mr. Aizawa then says, Bakugu, you're up. Kaken walks up, but not before shoving my shoulder saying, freak. I rub my shoulder as I sigh, same as always. Ashido comes up to me and says, he's a jerk. I nod. The tall guy, also known as Shoji, comments, he's not the class favorite. Aitsa then says, we should not be insulting our fellow classmates. I turn to him, Itza, calm down, they didn't mean anything by it, just let it go. Besides, I doubt he cares what we think, it's the kinda guy he is. Kikin walks into the circle and catches the ball Mr. Aizawa throws him, and he gets ready. After a second, he reels his hand back before throwing it forward, releasing an explosion yelling, "Die." The explosion sends air everywhere, our class cover their eyes and look while I just what the smoke slowly dissipates, "Die." I look over to the ball as it hits the ground and bounces away, I look to Mr. Aizawa as he shows his score. 703.1. Kikin releases an explosion from both his hands, "What? That thing's broken, there's no way I got less than the freak show on every test." Mr. Aizawa deadpans and says, "You did, let's move on." He turns to us. Kikin glares at Mr. Aizawa, "No, I want to go a guy dash." Mr. Aizawa activates his quirk and grabs Kikin with his scarf and pulls him in, "Do not argue with me. I say what you do, and you will obey, any lip from you towards me or the staff at any point during your time here, and I will immediately expel you right on the spot. I don't care how good you are, your attitude will get others hurt or worse if you don't get a handle on it." He then leans closer to Kikin and whispers something to him, which causes his eyes to go wide. Mr. Aizawa lets him go and faces us while Kikin looks down. "Alright, next test." The next were easy to do in my opinion, they went by pretty fast, and eventually we were all done, standing away from the assessment field of pain as some called it. Mr. Aizawa spoke up, "Okay, everyone gather up, the tests are complete. I'll show the score, I don't feel bothered to calling each of them out one by one, so here they are." He presses a button and shows the scores, I immediately see my name in second place, and I smile, "Yes." I check last place and see Mineta in that position. He starts crying when he notices he's in last place and says, "Aizawa, please, don't expel me." He stops displaying the scores and says, "Yeah, I was lying about that, no one's going home." Everyone except a small few looks at him in shock, while he shows off his signature smile and says, "It was just a rational deception to make sure you gave it your all in the tests." I smile while everyone yells out, "Way-a-yacht." I roll my eyes while a tall girl with long black hair done up in a bun says, "Wait, you didn't see it, my bad, guess I should have said something." While everyone gives her a look, Mr. Aizawa walks away, I smile and say, "He wasn't lying." Everyone looks at me now, including the Yayorozu, as I continue, "The only reason he expels students is because they don't meet his expectations, so if Mineta didn't show any real potential that was notable for him, he would have expelled him without hesitation. Hell, he would have done that to whoever got first place if he deemed it necessary." Everyone start to look extremely worried. Kirishima, the guy with red hair, then asks, Are you sure, you're not just joking, right?" I shake my head, "Nope, when he first trained me, I gave it everything I had, but when I got older and started slacking off, he threatened to stop training me if I keep it up, so I stopped and he didn't, but a few years later he told me that he was telling the truth, he was getting fed up with me holding back in my training. He even told me that he once expelled a whole class of freshman students because he didn't think they were taking it seriously enough." They all looked at me in fear. I smile as I walk away, "But don't worry, if you don't stop giving it all you've got, you'll be just fine." The first day was short. After the quirk assessment test, the first day of school was over. I was walking out towards the front gate to leave when I heard Itza's quick stomps heading towards me. I look back and see Itza walking up to me, "Midoriya." I wave, "Hey there, Itza." He catches up to me and we walk side by side. He starts conversation, "I still can't wrap my head around you being taught by a pro hero, let alone one who is a teacher at UA." I smile, "Yep, we try to keep it a secret from others, no one in my life found out, aside from my mom. From preschool spanning all the way to the end of middle school, this is the first time in my life where this became common knowledge. I know some people are going to spread rumors, so everyone's going to know at some point." He nods, "Yes, student gossip is a danger when in regard to secrets." I sigh, "Tell me about I dash." "Wait up." We stop and turn around. We see Ashido running to catch up while Shoji walks a little way behind her. I smile and wave, "Hey guys." Ashido catches up, "Hi, I wanted to know if we could leave school together." Shoji catches up a bit after, "I was wondering the same, if that's alright." I look at Itza who nods, I look back and say, "Sure, why not?" After that, the four of us walked home together, Ashido and Xiaoji staying with me the longest. Ashido's parents don't care how late she is, as long as she's home by dinner, while Xiaoji lives far out, a little detour is fine. It feels good to have friends. At first, I didn't have any in middle school, but here, at UA High, I gained 4. This is going to be a dream come true. Alright, that's where we'll leave off for the day. Thanks so much for listening along with me today. If you enjoyed, please like and comment down below. It really helps with the algorithms. I look forward to seeing you next time. Ciao for now, lovelies.